All right. Hello, everyone. Chris here with Leeloo. Thank you so much for hanging out and being with us today. Today is January 23rd, 2024. So excited to have you guys join us. If you're visiting with us for the first time, I want to take the minute here to welcome you and thank you for joining us. Maybe you were just hanging out on YouTube and you said, hey, there's something going on. Let me check it out. Um, Maybe you've been meaning to join us, but you haven't had time. So thank you for jumping on with us. Today we have a very special guest. I'll be introducing him in just about a minute here. But before we get going, I just want to be sure that you hit that like button. Get sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then I want to encourage you guys to ask questions along the way. So our special guest today definitely encourage that. And we're gonna have a great conversation. And so be sure you stay tuned, not just for the whole show, but post show, we're gonna be sending out emails with a few special things that you're not gonna want to miss out on. That's going to be coming from our speaker today. So, but let me bring him on. Let me introduce him. We already got so many people here, so that's really exciting. So, guys, remember when you have a question, I will read that question to our guest. So, if I missed your question, please just ask again, and we'll definitely get it going. So, guys, I'm so glad to be able to introduce from Mind Muscles. Um, Richard, and let me bring him on here. Let's test this audio. Hey, Rich, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. It's 9 o'clock in San Jose, California.
Awesome. Okay, I got you on the screen, and you're good to go. It's 9 o'clock in California. Yeah, how's the weather over there?
Oh, rainy. We're having rain, which is really good because it improves the snowpack and it improves our water situation, and the skiers love it.
That's awesome. All right. So, thank you for joining me in the 2024 Clear Mindset. It's I've always talked about, and I think anytime you're involved, whether it's in sports, in school, and definitely in trading, you have to have a clear mindset. You have to have your mind ready to go. You can be ready physically, but if you're not mentally ready, you're probably not going to do too well. So, but I'll push it over to you. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, about how you got started, and then let's get to the topic.
Sure. I was a philosophy major in college, and so everyone asks what a philosophy major is doing trading on the floors. But I went to work for Merrill Lynch. Then I went to the floor and worked for a large arbitrage firm, CRT, Chicago Research and Trading. And they threw me on the floor. And I'll tell you a little bit about that and how that went. It didn't start well. I'll give you a clue. And then I started my own trading firm and I created a process for trading, and that included my traders, and that included the psychology process, given my background as in psychology and as a therapist. So it all kind of came together, and it really blossomed, and it made a big difference in my own financial state, and made a big difference for the traders who worked with me.
That's great. And um, how long were you on the floor?
Oh my gosh, I started in 1983 clear through 2000.
Okay. Wow. That's real exciting. So, what just for our sake of our traders, what kind of trading did you do exactly, and what kind of trading do you do now?
Yes, the trading I did then was on the options floor of the Pacific Exchange, and I had a trader on the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. And what we did is we arbitraged implied volatility. For the traders that understand options, you understand that options can be expensive or cheap. So we basically bought cheap, sold expensive. We bought on the bid, sold on the offer. I have so many stories that was a golden time for floor traders. Oh my gosh, we had a protected monopoly. Uh, it's like if an order came in, I'd be three bid at a quarter.
Hmm.
Well, that means $3 at three and a quarter. Now you go to the electronic exchanges and it's three bid at three and a penny.
Wow. Yeah, that's that's wild stuff. And yeah, I do a little bit of options. I do mostly futures trading, and so most of our traders we do futures here at Leeloo, but options is very very interesting for sure.
Yeah, there's an added level of complexity that a lot of traders step into that they don't fully appreciate. And we can talk about that in another session if we have the time.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, let's dive into today's topic. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you take it off, and I'll probably interrupt you along the way with some questions and also some questions from the viewers.
Yeah, I think that questions and comments and pushback and even arguments really out of those discussions sometimes come better than just a presentation. So let me start a slideshow here. And from the beginning, there we go. Oh, I didn't share my screen first, did I? So technology and me don't sometimes get along. So I'm going to share the screen and share this screen here. Start sharing. Okay, now I can go here and go slideshow from beginning. Let's see if this works. There we go.
All right,
Okay, can you see the screen?
I do. I'm just adjusting it on my end here a little bit to make it look
Okay,
bigger and better. So I think we're in a good spot right there.
excellent. So first of all, I'd like to give you an appreciation, Chris, that you're taking a technology company and combining it with education. There's such a big need in our industry for those two things, and you're filling a hole, and I think you're delivering real value. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so welcome to our meeting where we're going to create a path to end persistent trading mistakes and replace them with intentional behaviors. So, as Chris mentioned, welcome questions in the chat box, pushback. Love to have difficult questions because out of those come really some great discussions. So, the structure of this live meeting has three sections: the warm up, the workout, and the win in the world. And during this live meeting, I'm going to introduce a whole new way of stepping out of persistent trading mistakes and into a master trader's mindset. I'm not going to be talking from just theory, but from my own personal experience and thousands of clients who have expanded their consistent trading profits. This warm up section is designed for our neocortex. You know, that's the part near our forehead. It's the rational thinking part of our brain. We help you reframe your approach to problems so they can be solved. This gives you the power to get out of your rut, create new ways of thinking that support long-term solutions. So let's dive into the warm-up. Now here, my personal story is important to understand because we're going to be doing an exercise later that feeds off of it. Well, my story starts as a tall, skinny philosophy major who walked onto the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I only had the trading experience of being a broker, futures broker, where I worked for Merrill Lynch. Well, that philosophy major was given a badge and put in the middle of the S&P futures pit. Well, I looked around. I saw the energy, the millions of dollars whizzing back and forth with just hand signals, and I knew I had found my home. So my job was to create the S&P futures to trade them, to hedge option delta risk for a privately held options trading firm. That's right. First time I walked onto a trading floor was not as a clerk to learn the trade and understand the confusion there, but as a trader. I had been hired by Chicago Research and Trading, founded by my college buddy, the late Joe Ritchie. And you can read about Joe in the New Market Wizards book. But for me, it wasn't a quick trip to the bank. My first trainer in the S&P options pit said these words, and I can hear them right now. Rich, you are the worst trainee I have ever had. I can hear that voice. It cut me deeply. Here I was in the heart of billions of dollars flowing back and forth. So close. I was so close. And to hear these words just crushed my hopes and dreams. So, is this a feeling that may be similar to some of you? You're so close, you can see the opportunities, you can taste it, and yet you're not quite there. It's like a nightmare. Well, I managed to survive that withering criticism, and I opened a trading operation for CRT on the floor of the Pacific Exchange in San Francisco. There I was determined to let nothing stop me. For the next 3 years, I kept notes of everything I noticed, both in myself and other traders. I kept these notes on 3x6 trading cards that I kept in my jacket pocket. You can see them inside the yellow circle. I journaled everything of significance. This stack of cards, almost a foot high, eventually turned into a manual that I used to train my own traders for my own trading firm, Trade Management LLC. That manual has now evolved into Mind Muscles for Traders and the programs that we offer. What did I learn from my journals? Consistent profitability in trading is possible. My firm was one of the most consistently profitable firms on the floor of the Pacific Exchange. So, how did we do this? This is going to be a surprise to most of your listeners. We didn't worry about profits. We just focused on our process and our execution. The profits just simply became a result of our process. About 1/3 of the traders I hired did fantastic. About 1/3 did, well, they did okay. However, that left a third unable to make profits. Same market, same opportunity, same training. So, what was the difference? It turned out that the successful traders kept honing their mindset. They kept building a rapport with themselves and the markets. Tyson, the tall trader in the white shirt, he learned quickly. When he followed our process, he made money. When he got cocky and he needed his predictions to be right and to brag to the rest of the pit and to make money and to bring back reports to his girlfriend, he lost money. So he quickly became an advocate of our magic carpet option trading strategy and became my best trader. Strong, consistent returns with minimal risk. Okay, Chris, any comments or questions so far that you might have or anybody else put up?
Okay, well, I have a lot, but yeah, so I'm trying to pick the best ones. But let me we do have a comment from a trader says, and if you want to answer this later, we can. But he says, "Hello, Richard. What did your trader struggle with the most against?"
The struggle was that, and I'm going to go into this, is that our brains are not made to trade. Our brains are made to live on the savannas as we evolved. And as a result, our actions and our behaviors and our beliefs are driven by the deeper parts of our brain that help us survive. But trading is a probabilistic, a systematic, and a process that is interrupted by our survival mechanisms. So we're going to go into that a bit and how to manage that systems and make a significant shift in how our brain operates.
Great. And another question says, when it comes to journaling, do you believe that recent traders who adopt this practice will perform poorly, or is it simply a tool that doesn't contribute positively or negatively to their trading?
That's an excellent question. The question is, what are you journaling? And you can repeat the same things and not really touch the deeper issues. And at the end, I'm going to show you a screen of our market metrics where we journal exactly, precisely what makes the impact on our profitability. And I'll show that to you later. And in fact, we have scheduled a whole session on market metrics to do just that and to explore it. And we'll do that later.
Great.
Okay, so there is hope. If you recognize one or more of these states that's driven by your more primitive brain, welcome to the club. Making impulse trades, mistrades, overtrading, repeating the same errors, stress, fear of loss, jumping from system to system, not being disciplined, letting big losses run, feeling stuck, fear of failure, cutting your winners short, lack of confidence, ruled by emotions, afraid to lose money, afraid to pull the trigger, and self sabotage. Now, the question I have is if which one of these issues, if resolved, would make the biggest impact on your P&L? And if anybody wants to type that into the chat box, which of these states of mind, if resolved, would make the biggest impact?
Okay, so you're saying that out of all this here listed, which is quite a few,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you can resolve only one, which will make the biggest difference? Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to cheat and put down two, I won't
Oh,
throw you in jail.
okay. That's funny. Um, it's funny because as the list was coming up, Rish, I think I dealt with every single one of them. Like, I mean, I'm still going through them, but I ruled by emotions, afraid to lose money. Afraid to lose money was not an issue for me at the beginning because I
Mm-hmm.
did paper money for 3 years. So,
Okay.
and then when I moved, my mentor moved me from paper money to Leeloo. I was, my risks were so small so that was kind of out of the way. So that's
Right.
probably out of all the stuff here, that's the one I didn't have to deal with as much until my mentor said, okay, now you're ready to go on your own. But I don't know if I can. I'll be happy to share. There, people are sharing with us here. Um, I think if you were to stick with one from here and move one from here, is jumping from system to system.
Okay. Excellent.
So,
Okay, so if you have any one of these, or two, or three, or four,
mhm,
imagine what would happen to your P&L if they were resolved.
mhm.
So now let's look at the other side of the ledger. If you recognize any of these goals, desired outcomes, well, welcome to your road of trading mastery. So, which of these goals would feel like trading heaven? The power of discipline, self mastery, enjoying the challenge, cutting the losses, letting profits run, trading with focus and flow, feeling joyful trading, increasing size with comfort, consistent profitability, becoming a professional, set free from financial worries, calm and relaxed, managing risk successfully, loving the challenge, the joy of discipline, executing your strategy, financial freedom, self confidence, real time self awareness, and feeling great trading and persistence and resilience. Which of these would feel the best? And again, if you want to type them in, you can say, see where we're going and start to create a roadmap or a direction to the future.
Yeah. So just to give you a little insight of what people type in on the other one, ruled by emotions, afraid to lose
Mhm.
money, fear of loss. For me, over trading, repeating the same errors, not disciplined, over trading, cut my winner short, not disciplined, ruled by emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quite a bit of the same. And then we do have a quick question in between here. I don't know if you want it now or we can wait.
Yeah, go ahead and we'll, if we're going to do it later, I can let you know.
Perfect. And it says here, why do you think traders, including us, often find ourselves repeating the same mistakes in trading, resembling those made in the past? What could be the underlying reasons for this pattern?
Oh my gosh, that's the perfect question because that's exactly where we're going. So I so appreciate that question. Okay. Do you want to make any comments on where we're going? Are these goals, or just move forward?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, again looking at this list, you know, a lot of good stuff. So yeah, we're good.
Okay. So the question then is, how do we get from here? And this is the question that you just read.
Hmm.
How do we get from here to here?
Hmm.
What mechanisms drive repeated trading behaviors that don't serve us? What mechanisms drive repeated trading behaviors that do serve us? But first, what impact do your persistent trading mistakes have on your profits? What would happen? What change would happen to your equity curve, if you know what that is, your long term profitability added up, if you overcame all your persistent trading mistakes and traded according to your system rules or pattern recognition? So, would you become, in fact, people can type this in, would you be significantly more profitable, a little more, about the same? Would you become actually less profitable or significantly less profitable? If you were able to change your trading behaviors, what would happen to your profitability? And that'd be interesting to see how your listeners respond.
Okay. Hmm. So are you saying if you start making those changes, what are the pretty much what are the results? Is that kind of what you're
Ex-
asking?
exactly,
Yeah.
Chris. Exactly.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Um, because I can almost, in the compared to the many years you've done this, I'm just a baby. Um, but I still remember clearly when I was almost doing this one by one. Now, sometimes one was kind of taking care of the rest. For example, when I was working on my discipline, when I when discipline took over, it started changing and impacting the other ones. Um,
Yes, that's a really good point. That once you start changing one thing, the complexity in our brain, and we're going to go into that in a bit, impacts everything.
mhm.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, any other questions or comments before we move on?
Yep, let me see. I think there's one here. When it comes, no, I already asked that one. So no, we're good.
Okay. So, well, first, I want you to know you're not alone. The Mind Muscles Academy has surveyed and tested over 2,000 professional and independent traders. These are traders who are determined to get to their goal of consistent profitability. The results of these assessments and surveys are consistent with my own personal experience as a floor trader, my floor trading team, and my professional trader coaching clients. The repeated trading behaviors that cost us big money are rooted in subconscious neural patterns that sabotage our profits. Why do most of us traders repeat the same patterns? Well, it turns out we all operate with the same human brain with its systemic limitations that evolved eons ago. The holy grail of trading is not a magic bullet, it's hiding in plain sight in between your ears. When I realized that persistent trading mistakes could be managed, I shifted from a volatile equity curve to a consistently profitable equity curve. So let's look at some of the ways that our work together today can make a difference for everybody listening. And the next point I'm going to make is the most simple, yet the most critical precept for changing persistent trading errors. Are you ready?
Yes.
We all rationally know what to do, but we keep repeating the same costly behaviors over and over. Now, I'm going to give you the secret key to creating consistent profits. But you have to promise you'll never tell this to anybody else outside this group. Okay, Chris?
You got it.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Now, take out your pen and paper and write this down. You can't get to the goal of consistently increasing profits without stepping into a mindset. I just want to let this soak in because if you understand this point, your path to trading mastery has just become a lot easier. To change your profits, you need to change your brain's trading impulses with an improved mindset where persistent trading mistakes aren't even available, period. This point is so simple, yet for some of us, it remains unacknowledged.
Hmm.
So before we move on to the workout portion, what is the impact of your mindset and emotions on trading? If people can type it in, and for some people, there are some engineering types who say, emotions hardly impact my trading at all. For most of us, and I'll include myself in that group, my emotional state, my belief about myself, uh, my belief about the world, and my self confidence, they all have a tremendous impact on not only my trading behaviors but my behaviors in the rest of the world. And I can give you many examples where I'll do the same thing, but from one mindset it becomes a very different result than from another mindset. So if everybody wants to type in, does your mindset, how much does it impact your trading from a little to a lot?
Okay, great question. And Rich, I was that kid in class that I would ask so many questions. So I always told the teacher, I'm not going to ask difficult questions, but I'm going to ask a lot. So, um, so if you can break this down for me just real quick, because I mean, I think it's pretty simple. You're saying new mindset equals new results, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So help me understand this here. Are you saying that if we keep with the same mindset, we're going to keep getting the same results we've been getting, correct?
Right,
Okay. So if we want to change, we have to think differently, correct?
right.
Okay. And I'm sure you're going to probably help us understand how to do that, correct?
That's the goal.
Okay. So let's apply this to something else. What else? We can apply this to everything in life, right? Um, Getting healthier, right? Being
Mm-hmm.
more confident, whatever it is, right? Getting things done around the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us maybe another example where how this takes place? Just for maybe for those of us that like examples.
Sure. I have a client, a trader, who one of the things he talked about, he says, well, trading is difficult, but also I need to exercise. I need to go for a run every morning. And I just don't. I put it off. Well, for me, a long time ago, I said my back was getting sore. I was harder to bend over. I'm a more mature gentleman. So I just started with doing cat stretches, on the hands and knees, the back up and down.
Mhm.
And I like those. Those feel comfortable. It feels good to stretch. And then I added one more thing, and then one more thing. And now I have a 40-minute routine that I do 3 or 4 days a week, and the other 3 or 4 days a week I go for a morning run. But so in the morning I'll get up. I don't want to do the exercise. Okay, Rich, just do the cat stretches. So I'll get on my hands and knees in the same place. I do the cat stretches, and the whole neurological process, all the connections that I've made over the years doing my routine just kick in, and I can't imagine even stopping. So what we're going to do is we're going to create new neurological connections, and we're going to talk about that. So the client who didn't want to go for a run, I say, how about just putting your shoes beside you on the couch?
Mhm.
Can you do that? Oh, sure. I'll do that for a week. And then a week later, okay, put the shoes on and tie them. Can you do that? Oh, sure. Just go to the door and open it. Oh, sure, I can do that. So then one day he just went for a run because it was a beautiful day out. And now he goes for a run every day. And he can't imagine not doing that. So, what we're going to do is create baby steps. I
Mhm.
like that. Baby steps. And we're going to create new neurological connections. And we'll talk about why that is important.
Mm. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Okay, so the traditional advice for behavioral change is be more disciplined. How many of you traders have read You just need more discipline. You need more willpower. So, Chris, have you ever felt, I just need more willpower?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, okay. So, you force yourself with willpower. You know what you want to do, but sometimes it feels so hard to break old habits that no longer serve you. You might find yourself repeating costly trading behaviors over and over again. The result of this is that you build a two-story nut house in your brain. The top story is our conscious, rational, analytic part of ourselves. It's located in the neocortex, the frontal part of our brain. The bottom story is our impulsive, animal, emotional part of ourselves, located in the brain's limbic system. The goal of the top story is to subdue the bottom story. However, the bottom story is connected in our limbic brain, which is part of our survival instincts. The top story loses the battle most of the time. In fact, without our emotional brain, we can't make decisions or discover patterns. Our conscious brain does not have the bandwidth to do what we need to do as traders. So, what we've all been told doesn't work for most of us. Maybe, just maybe, what we have been told isn't using the right model. Telling a trader to be more disciplined is like a track coach telling his sprinter to just run faster. Why are persistent trading behaviors so persistent? The answer is located in the brain we inherited from our ancestors. So let's learn a bit about how the brain does work. I know you're now asking, how does this improve my trading? This model is this model is foundational to building the new trading mindset. So please bear with me here. Now, I'm going to go into some detail about the neuroscience of our brain. So, many studies show that when people understand the process of synaptic change in their brain, new behaviors that serve them better are created more easily. This video shows neurons in time-lapse photography, making and breaking neural connections. The value of watching this video is to give your mind a new model for how your brain works. This model is critical to making the changes you want. You are watching neuroplasticity in the raw. The good news is that because of neuroplasticity, we can create new neural patterns. When done intentionally, we call these mind muscles. Mind muscles serve us better than the original automated neural pathways we want to replace. This is the core process of mind muscles trading in our private coaching and our online compass and other courses. When I first started riding a Harley V-Rod, I had NEMs, or neural metastructures, that didn't serve me well. For example, one day I came around a corner and a semi-truck had crossed over the line into my lane. What did I do? I stared at the Mac emblem on the radiator. I was fixated. Now, a motorcycle, as you know, tends to go in the direction you're looking. So my instinct was to stare at the danger, which created more danger. But that needed to change. I managed to wiggle out of that one. So I practiced for 2 months. I played and I pretended scenarios while riding, always looking at the safe or escape route, not the danger. I would imagine a danger and immediately look at the safe route. Now, my brain wanted me to look at the danger, but after 2 months of just constant rehearsal, my actions became automated. Now, when threatened, I immediately looked at the safest spot and not the danger. And by the way, that's a great metaphor for the rest of our lives. So even in stressful situations, the brain can reshape itself. Okay, questions or comments?
No, good point. I don't see mindset. Yeah, so we have a I think kind of question comment here. It says mindset has explored in trading in the zone is often rooted in our childhood and community experiences, making it challenging to change, especially in financial matters.
Boy, that question got right to the core of an issue. When I'm working with a private client,
Mhm.
even in sometimes the first session, I'll I'll be watching them on Zoom because my clients are all over the world. We don't see each other in person. And I'll notice something. I'll notice a behavior, a mouth, a stress in the voice. And I'll have them exaggerate it. I'll have them give it a voice. We'll talk to that part of themselves. We'll step into it. And sometimes I'll say, how old are you right now? And they'll say, I'm 5. What's happening to Ronnie when he's 5? I'm hiding under the bed. My dad is coming home drunk and I don't want him to beat me. Whew. So that very early experience, that trauma, is triggered when we're trading. We don't want, and it turned out that he didn't want the market to beat him. And as a result, he would keep adding on to losing positions, like hiding under the bed. So that's an excellent question.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Deep. Okay. Thank you.
Now we move to the workout section, and this is where we're going to experience what we've learned in the warm-up sessions and start to create some new mind muscles. We're going to create some new mind muscles right now. In this section, you're going to experience replacing automated behaviors with new intentional behaviors. I know some of you are thinking, well, what does this have to do with trading? And again, I can't overemphasize how important this concept is. You can't improve your trading profits without improving your trading behaviors. And if improving your trading behaviors is key, shouldn't we spend some time knowing how to do this best? Once you have a feel for this, then you can apply your success to trading behaviors over and over. And once you start mastering creating new behaviors, the process itself becomes easier and easier. Ready? So in this summary, in this demonstration, he showed you what it feels like to interrupt well-established NEMs or neural metastructures and place them with new intentional behaviors. So we're going to go right now and do that. And we're going to see how we can interrupt the brain process. And to experience the creation of new neural connections, I want you right now to pick up a pen and put it in your non-writing hand. For example, I'm left-handed, so I would put it in my right-handed. And most of you are right-handed, and you will put a pen or pencil in your left hand. And if you don't have one, just point your finger and pretend it's a pen. Now, write the following sentence. I am creating new neural connections. I am creating, I'm doing this with my right hand, new neural connections. Now, that's really sloppy. If I asked my wife to read that, she couldn't do it. So what we have is neural connections that just aren't there. However, if we broke our arm in a month, we could be writing legibly. And just like we showed you those neural connections, making and breaking connections, we're creating new neural connections. And that's what we're going to be doing as traders when we're looking for new behaviors that serve us better. Now, we can only change our behavior in the moment, not in the past and not in the future. Believe me, I tried to change some past decisions. That's really hard to do. And I still haven't been able to change the decisions that I'll make in the future. The process of mind muscles training is to locate the moment of a neural connection, a neural decisions. Once located, we can interrupt the reactions that no longer serve us. We can now create a new positive upward spiral of new behaviors that feel better in the moment, support our values, and get us to our goal. In this illustration, we focus on the moment of decisions. Once we're triggered and drop into our survival brain, the downward spiral takes over. One trade has, well, we can ask, has one bad trade ever triggered another bad decision and another? But what if at that moment of decision, we're able to be aware of the trigger, understand it as a primitive neural reaction, and had the agency, the ability to step back and get back on track on the upward spiral. There was a movie, I don't know if any of you have seen it, called World War Z with Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. And in one of the final scenes, he and his family are running up a stairwell to the top of a building, and the zombies are chasing him. And if a zombie touches you or scratches you, you become a zombie. And he was aware that when the zombie scratched him, he didn't know if he was going to become a zombie. And if he became a zombie, he would kill his own family. So he got to the top, locked the door, and then went to the edge and stood on the railing of the 15-story building or whatever it was, and leaned forward some more and leaned forward till he was just at the point to stop. And he waited. He waited to see if he was going to become a zombie. And his hope was that he would have enough agency, enough ability to tell that he was just starting to become a zombie, and he would just do that slight lean forward, fall off the building, and not kill his family. Well, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that point. And what I do is I trade with my private clients, and we look for that point. And what's amazing, if I am just there with them, they don't go into a downward spiral. My presence alone. And we have ways for people to create this situation for themselves at that moment of decision. So what can you do to change persistent trading behaviors that no longer serve you? What can you take away from this webinar that you can do on your own? And how can we support you as you acquire a master trader's mindset? And that's the question. So let's look at what you can bring and what we learned today and what you can bring to your real world trading. Let's start with the golden keys, the foundation, awareness. And we have an exercise I'm going to give you in a minute. Acceptance, accepting what you learn, and agency, like Brad Pitt, having enough agency to determine whether he was going to become a zombie or not. What do we want now? Self-awareness is the key. It's the foundation for creating new behaviors that serve you better. Physical self-awareness, just going through your body. In fact, let's do this right now. I'm going to take a moment to become aware of my physical presence. My stomach is a bit tight. My voice is a little bit tight. I'm going to tighten it a little more. It's a little high. My breathing's a little shallow. Okay. What do I want? I have agency. I'm going to slow down a bit. I'm going to let my voice relax. I'm going to be fully here. This feels better. You'll notice the change in my tone of voice. Awareness, acceptance. I don't criticize myself. And agency, the ability to change my physical awareness. Well, we have an exercise. It's to become aware of our physical sensations, like I just did, our emotional state, and the quality of our thoughts. And what you can do is you can set an alarm for every 10 minutes while you're trading, and just become aware of your physical sensations. Do that for a week, and then add your emotional state. Do that for a week, and then add the quality of your thoughts. And the important part of this is accepting. If you look at an anthropologist, when he goes to a tribe in the Amazon, he doesn't judge them. Everything is fascinating. So pretend you're an anthropologist of yourself. I have an exercise of acceptance where I went and got $50 from the bank in $1 bills. And every time I caught myself with a judgmental thought, I put $1 in the jar. That jar filled up in a day and a half. So when I catch myself judging myself, I don't say, "You idiot, you're judging yourself." No, I say, well, that's interesting. How much every day I judge myself. So the natural tendency at this point is to beat ourselves up, but to accept what we learn. We only create new action if it feels better in the moment. So let's focus on creating new actions in the moment that feel better. And I invite, when my client says, well, I should be more disciplined, I say, well, let's reframe that. Invite yourself to step into a trading state and behavior that just feels so good you can't imagine not being there. I have them rephrase it, and that's magical. Invite yourself to something that feels better and that doesn't require the willpower. Okay, questions or comments? Well, let's see. Yes, we just talked about this. It feels better right now. Resolving the real trading issues, building rapport with the markets, and developing a calm confidence. And this is where we can support you and where Leeloo, with its educational emphasis, can really be helpful. We talked about the persistent trading mistakes today. We're going to measure your mindset in the next session, avoid the 13 worst trading traps, tackle market mood challenge, and turn the pain of loss into gain. So we're going to continue this series and we're going to be touching on each of these. And each of these will be a mindset step that is going to make the difference. As we looked at, what you want, will it make a difference? And most of you said yes. We're also going to look at mind metrics, and this is where we measure exactly what matters. And I can look at this chart of one of my clients, and I can tell immediately where we're making progress and where we need to spend more time and attention. So I'm going to invite you to step into more profitable behaviors. And Chris is going to give you a link with a code that is going to give you a great break on some very simple tools so that everyone, no matter what their financial condition is, can start. I didn't get that set up quite in time, so Chris is going to send that out later. So, Chris, thoughts?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much, Richard, for your time and for doing this and bringing this value to us. I did share the link, but I have not shared the code yet. So just check out that link, and I will be giving you guys the code here in the upcoming days through email and social media and Discord and other YouTube channels. So, but Richard, can you so I'm going to say something I'd like to mention, and then can you tell us a little more about what you do, because you mentioned a few things you do. Many of us know who Tom Brady is, former NFL professional football player, won multiple rings. Richard, are you familiar with Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not necessarily like big on Trump. I like him. He's done great things, so I'm a fan. But I'm not like those people that worship him. Um, but definitely, I wasn't a huge fan of him right out of college. He took over the job of one of my favorite players, Bledsoe, Drew Bledsoe. So I was not a big fan of him. But something that one of the greatest players in the NFL did was that in college he went to a sports psychologist. So here's one of the best of the best. One of the best players to ever play the game, to ever play the position. He went to a sports psychologist. So that I remember. So when I was studying, I was not a big believer. I don't know if you will call this old school or what, but I wasn't a big believer in mental health. Okay. Like
Yeah,
if,
you're a bigger believer in craziness, but go ahead.
so anyways, but sports psychologist. So are you almost like a trader psychologist in how you say you have traders that you trade together? You're there, you're not trading together, but you're in there with them while they're trading. Can you tell us a little more about what you do exactly? What are the different things you offer? So not only can we understand based on our conversation today exactly, well, who is Richard? Like, what exactly does he do? And what may he offer that I may benefit from? like Tom Brady did. Tom Brady mentioned that one key part of his success was going to that sports psychologist. So
Hmm.
it may not be for everyone, but it may be for a lot of us. So if you can briefly explain to us so we can best understand that.
Sure. The whole process comes in different flavors, but it's the core process of first becoming aware of ourselves. If we block ourselves off at the head, and many of us traders come from engineering, math, and science backgrounds, physics backgrounds, and we're all up here above our shoulders. But what we don't appreciate is that when we go to trade and execute, that comes from our whole physiological, emotional, and our thinking behaviors. So our goal is to integrate those with the market. Now, there's a lot of things to learn about the market, and we do some of those. But the primary thing is a process that as you approach the markets, trading, or other places in life, like many of my clients are entrepreneurs, for example, that we come with that awareness, with that acceptance, and with that ability to build our agency. So rather than just being reactive, we're by building our awareness. I don't know, can you see my hand?
Yes, we see your hand.
Okay, by building the awareness up here, eventually, as that becomes more habituated, that awareness becomes agency. It can actually start making decisions rather than just being reactive. So we have, for example, guided visualizations, a whole bunch of them for traders. One of the big ones is the trader's home, where we visually build a house for the trader that has is a metaphor for their building their trading agency and their ability. We have many guided visualizations that deal with different aspects. We have online courses that take you through the major psychological issues. We also have the mind metrics, which is a very specific way of journaling and measuring the exact issues that traders face versus there's just so much to learn. So we hone it down to the criteria that's important. And we also then have private coaching, and that's where I work with the traders individually. I trade with them when it's called for, and we go through the issues that, and what you brought up earlier, we often sometimes find deeper traumas that are, uh, what's the word? They're taking over the brain. They're taking us down to our survival mechanisms, and by understanding those, and sometimes that takes a while, and to relive the pain of that trauma and to go through it and come out the other side is not trivial. But I'm willing to take my traders through whatever issues they need to reach success.
That's awesome. Thank you. There is a comment here. Let me read that to you. It says, as a trader, is it more critical to focus on learning about the market or on cultivating the right mindset? Considering your experience, what do you find most important?
Well, I think when a trader starts, you start learning. The best process is to learn from other people, to learn other systems. Otherwise, the amount of information is overwhelming. The number of potential patterns and systems and algorithms you can learn is just staggering. So learn something from somebody else. And then, like I did, I showed you the slide of my trading jacket with the note card in it. Just become aware of everything. Awareness, accept what you learn. Oh my gosh, I just exited too early. Oh, I canceled my stop. Oh, I added to a losing position or whatever it is. Say, that's fascinating. What happened at that moment? What was I afraid of? What was I trying to get? So you can do them hand in hand because eventually our brains are such that learning just trading without the mindset is going to leave you kind of one legged. Learning just mindset with understanding trading systems and how the market works will leave you the other one legged.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. And now I did want to make a quick comment about this from earlier in the conversation about I think it was your friend that started, that didn't want to run and started, with the shoes on the couch
Yep.
and then all that. So every day, and I talk a lot about this, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, because it's it sounds really silly, but it works for me. I like to start every single day with a win, like on a mindset. That's what helps me, right? I want to start winning. So since middle school, you know, I always say this words when I'm in bed, right? And you don't want to get out of bed. Now, once I'm out of bed, like once I step off the bed, I'm good. But getting out of the bed is challenging. And I tell myself this is do hard things. Do things that no one else wants to do. And then I start every single day since middle school by making my bed. And that's a win for me because I like when my bed is made and I it's like an accomplishment.
Hmm.
I call it a win. It's an accomplishment. And
Yes.
and so I start the day fired up. It from that very simple to this day. I mean, this morning I did it. I got out of bed. I told myself, do difficult things, do hard things, do things that no one else wants to do. And then I make my bed. And then I have a smile on my face every time. It's the funniest thing. But it just makes me happy to see my bed made. And
Hmm.
it's a win. I started the day with a win. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that you're pointing to something that's really, really, really important, and I'd like to put that in neon lights. The way we manage it, and we're going to talk about this in other sessions, is we create every trade is lucrative. Every trade. Holy mackerel, how do you do that? Well, we do it by reframing the trade by literally making the bed. In other words, did we get up? Did we do our exercises? Do we have our mindset? Did we come? Did we do our preparation? Did we execute the trade according to our strategy? Did we let the exit system take care of the exit versus being fearful? Did we keep our stops? If we did all that stuff, if the trade was profitable or unprofitable, it was a win, like making the bid. It's lucrative because over the larger sample size, if our system works, every trade has positive value. We don't know which trades are going to be profitable, which aren't, but we've done exactly what you did, Chris, is that we reframed winning to the process and the execution so that we can say the trade comes out, wow, I did it. I handled it, I executed it, and I'm on to the next one.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait for next week's conversation. Same time next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited, Rich. Thank you so much. A lot of people are saying thank you. Thank you for your time. So thank you so much. I have shared the link. It's on the description as well. It's on the chat, and we'll be sending out an email with the link. So everyone watching can click on that link, check out his website, check out the other stuff he offers. And we'll be giving you guys a promo that will be just for you guys from Rich, so you can participate in that product that he offers there, the bundle that I think you guys will benefit from. So thank you so much again, Rich. We'll be in touch, and I can't wait to chat next Tuesday.
It's been a creative conversation, and I so appreciate your comments and the educational opportunities you're bringing to your traders. So well done.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.